Why are addition and subtraction called inverse operations? So this is the warm-up for Unit 5, Lesson 10. Who can tell me? Nicole, go ahead.
I think it's because they're opposites, and multiplication and division and inverse operations.
Right, the book uses another word. Does somebody have another word for that? Noah? No. Jaden, what do you got? No, it's because... Tata? No. Listen, they're inverses because they undo each other. So if I undo subtraction, I'm going to be adding, right? All right, take a look at this first equation. Who can walk me through this first equation? Chin, what's the first thing I got to do?
First, I just want to answer.
Nope. Somebody walk me through the process. Bryce, walk us through.
What you have to do is first see how to undo. So you have to subtract.
I have to subtract what?
4 from.
Very good. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. That's the subtraction property of equality. So I'm doing the same thing to both sides of the equation. When I do that, what do I get back, Bryce?
You get back -2.
I get back negative what? No, look, if we have two numbers that are the same signs, okay, what happens? No, go ahead and fix it.
You get -6.
-6, very good. Same signs, you add them and you keep the sign. So 4 plus 2 is 6, and they both have a negative, so it's a -6. And then what is -4 and +4 going to become? 0, very good. And then we know anything plus 0 is itself, so C equals -6. Are we good on that one? C equals -6, yes. Do you have a question?
I was going to say you don't have to do that.
Okay, next step. Next problem. Who's got that one for me? Alexis, go ahead. What do I have to do to get my variable by itself?
Undo 9.
Undo +9. How do I undo +9?
-9.
I'm going to -9. I'm going to do that to both sides. That's the subtraction property of equality. And so when I do that, what do I get back?
You're going to get 1 for 10.
And then what about +9 minus 9? That's 0. 0 plus x. And what's x plus 0 going to be? X equals 1. Okay. And now these two are tricky. It's a common place I see students making mistakes. So let's take a look. Before we can even get started, remember I told you guys in first quarter, we don't like to have two signs in front of something, right? So we need to fix that. Alexia, how do we fix that? Nice. So we make these two signs, plus minus, into a minus. So now we rewrite this whole equation as b minus 2 equals 7. And so what do I do to get b by itself, Alexia? Undo subtraction. So what am I going to do? Add. And what am I adding? Okay, I'm adding 2. I'm not. Minus 2 is what we have. We're undoing minus 2 by adding 2. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. And so what does that become? Now 7 plus 2 equals what? 9. And then minus 2 plus 2 is what? 0. So here's what we have. Are we good? Yeah. And then what's b plus 0 going to be? B equals 9. Very good. All right. So again, we have the same situation. We have something with two signs in front of it. We need to fix it. So can I get somebody to help me out? Jameson, can you help me out? Walk me through this. What do I have to do to get rid of these two signs? Right, so two signs that are the same become plus. So a minus minus becomes a plus. Now, Jameson, now we have the equation m plus 3 equals 10. How do we get m by itself? Subtract what? Right, we got to subtract 3 from 10, but we also have to subtract, we have to do both sides the same, so we have to subtract from both sides 3. Okay, and 10 minus 3, what's that going to give me? 7. And what's positive 3 minus 3 going to give me back? 0. So we have m plus 0 equals 7. And what's m plus 0 going to become? M. So we get m equals 7. Is everybody good?
Yes.
So let's move along. Do you have a question about this? What you'll learn, to solve inequalities by adding or subtracting. New vocabulary, addition and subtraction property of inequality. So we're learning about two properties. Why learn this? Buildings and buses have limits on the number of people they can hold. You can use inequalities to find how many people can fit safely? You guys look at the bridge. It says weight limit 3 tons. What do you think is going to happen if you drive over that and you weigh more, and your vehicle weighs more than 3 tons? It might break. It might not break the first time. It might just crack, but it's not guaranteed to hold that anything more than that weight. And it looks like there's a river underneath it, and I wouldn't want my car to get dunked into water, because then it's done deal. It's over with. Okay, so you can solve inequalities using properties similar to those used solving equations. So now take a look at this. So this is what I'm saying. You're going to see a lot of repetition here. So solving inequalities and solving equations, it's the same thinking. If you add 3 to each side of the inequality, minus 3 is less than 2, the resulting inequality, negative 5 less 0 less than 5, is also true. So take a look at this. Do you see the blue points? This is negative 3, right? And this is positive 2. Isn't negative 3 less than positive 2? If I add 3 to both, that gives me a negative 3 becomes a 0. And then 2 plus 3 gives me 5. Isn't 0 still less than 5? Okay, so now let's look at how this relates to solving equations. Here's my inequality. I add 3 to both sides, right, of the inequality. So this becomes 0, and this becomes 5. And is that still a true inequality? It is. That's the addition property of inequalities. It's not much different than the addition property of equality. But I still have to treat both sides of the inequality the same. Yes? Not yet. All right, here is the key concept. It's basically saying what I just showed you. You can add the same value to each side of an inequality, and it's still going to be true. So here, 7 is greater than 3. If I add 4 to both sides of the inequality, it's still a true statement. Algebraically, that's the same case here. A greater than B. Then if you add C to A and add C to B, it's still true. Also, the same for less than. 1 less than 3, add 4 to both sides, that's still true. If A is less than B, add C to both sides, that's still true. Now, let's go about solving equalities, and we're going to graph it. So what we did earlier, we're going to use that. So how do we go about solving this? I'm going to show you the first one. How do I solve this inequality? How do I get n by itself? Think about what we did with the equations. I got to do inverse operations. Very good. What inverse operation am I going to do? Addition. And what am I going to add?
10.
I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So I add 10 to both sides. What's this going to become over here? 14 and 10, that becomes 24. What's minus 10 plus 10 going to become? 0. So I get n plus 0 is greater than 24. You see how my sign stayed the same? It's still greater than. And now we know n plus 0 is just n greater than 24. And who can explain to me how we graph that? Remember that from lesson 9? How do we graph that? Go ahead, Khadijah. Open circle or closed circle for this graph? Open circle. And which way am I going to shade, to the right or the left? To the right. So at 24, I have an open circle, and it's everything to the right. Are we good? Yep, what's your question? Because I have minus 10, and I need to undo minus, so I add 10 to both sides. I want to get my n by itself. So I have minus 10 here. The opposite operation is add 10. You would still want to move whatever's with the variable. And actually, I have a problem that's like what you're asking me, too, so we'll see that in a little bit. Okay. Yeah, right. Just like when we do the equations. Okay, here, now that you've seen one, now work one out. Now that you've seen one worked out for you, I want you guys to try this one on your own. And graph it. When you're done, put your pencils down so I know we can go over it. Okay, looks like most of you are done. Who can walk me through this? Atisha? What's the first thing I need to do? I have y minus 3 is less than 4. What's the first thing I need to do to solve that inequality?
You inverse operation, so you're going to do addition.
Addition of what? What?
Addition of inequality.
No, what? Right. Addition property of inequality, but what am I going to add?
Oh, 3 to both sides.
Nice. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And that what we just did is the addition property of inequality. Very good. And your name and the property too good. So what do we get back?
Y plus 0, and then it's going to be 7.
Is less than 7. Okay. And then what's y plus 0?
Y equals 7.
Not equal 7. Keep the inequality. Y is less than 7. Okay. Now how do we graph this? Open circle or closed circle?
It's going to be an open.
Nice. It's going to be open circle. And where's my open circle going to be?
It's going to be on the 7.
It's going to be on the 7. And which way am I going to shade? Pick some numbers to see what makes it true. So pick some numbers on one side of the open circle.
That is greater than 7 or less than 7.
Well, either or. We got to pick one that's going to make it true. So pick something over here on the left side of
4, I guess.
4. If I put 4 in there, does that make it true? Then that's the way I shade it. But if you chose to the right, put 10 in there. Does 10 make it true? Is 10 less than 7? So that's the way we're not going to shade it. We're going to shade it to the left. Do you understand? Okay, are we good? All right, is this making sense? Now, here we go. Just like we have the addition property of inequality, we also have the subtraction property of inequality. All that's saying is we could subtract something from both sides, and we get something that's still true. So to solve an inequality involving addition, we can use subtraction. Here's the other key concept. Subtraction property of inequality. You can subtract the same value to each side of an inequality. Here's an arithmetic example. 9 is greater than 6. If I subtract 3 from both sides, I still have a true statement. Algebraically, if A is greater than B, if I subtract C from A and I subtract C from B, it's still a true statement. Same goes for less than. If 15 is less than 20, if I subtract from both sides 4, I still have a true inequality. Now look, the properties of inequalities also apply to less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. So now, guess what we're doing? I got a problem for you to work out. Here it is. It's not a stretch from what we just did. Go ahead and work these out. I got y plus 7 greater than or equal to 12. I had a few people ask. I want to get through these two problems before I start letting anybody go. I wanted you to see these first. What's that? Oh, I want you to do this one first. I want to make sure everybody understands. So everybody, let's do this problem. And Khadija, you going to walk me through it? Can you tell me what's the first thing I got to do? Yeah, we're going to undo plus 7, and we're going to subtract 7. And that's the subtraction property of inequality. Very good. And what do we get back? Right, this becomes 0. And what's 12 minus 7 going to become? Okay, does everybody understand what we just did? Okay, and then y plus 0 is going to become what? It's just y. And then now, what's the graph going to look like? Are we going to put an open circle or are we going to put a closed circle? No. Look at what kind of inequality we have. And anytime you have a little bar underneath that, if it says a greater than or equal to or less, you close circle it. That means it can be that point. So now, we're going to put closed circle where? Over 5. And are we going to shade to the right or shade to the left? Right, we're going to shade to the right. Are we good? Everybody good? Okay, on a roll. Here's what we're going to do next. I got 3 problems for you guys to do right here. Nice. Most of you are trying. That's good. Most of you are trying to get this. Okay, I'm going to assign some problems to people. Mason, I want you to do C. Gabby, I'm going to have you do A. And who wants B? Alexis, I'm going to have you do B. Okay? And then I'll start allowing people to go to the restroom after we get through these three. Okay, Gabby, you ready for A? Okay, Gabby, what's the first thing we got to do? Right, and what are we going to subtract? Nice. We're going to subtract 9 from both sides. What do we get back?
So 9.
Please be quiet, Chen.
9 minus 9 equals 0.
Right. And what's positive 5 minus 9?
3.
Hold on. Positive 5 and a negative 9. When we have different signs, we take the difference. So what's the difference of 5 and 9? Not 3. If you got 9 and I got 5, how much more do you have? 4. Okay, so it's going to be 4, but now we have to figure out which sign do we put to 4. We keep the sign of the larger magnitude. Which one's the larger magnitude, 5 or negative 9? Right, so it's going to be a negative 4. Okay? Now that we have this part, now it's the easy part. What's x plus 0? X. So x is greater than negative 4. Now, am I going to have an open circle or closed circle? Open circle. So we're going to put open circle. Where are we going to put the open circle? Please stop talking. Open circle is going to be where? Not on 4, on the negative 4. So here's negative 4. And which way am I going to shade it? To the right or to the left? X is greater than negative 4. So if you're saying to the left, pick a number on the left of negative 4. Any number. Negative 8. Is negative 8 greater than negative 4? No, it's farther to the left. So if we pick a number on the right-hand side of negative 4, pick any number on the right side of negative 4. Any number. 6. Isn't 6 greater than negative 4? So that's why we're going to shade to the right, open circle to the right. Does that make sense? Okay, who had C or B? Alexis, go ahead. First thing I'm going to do.
Positive 3.
Right, undo positive 3. So we're going to do, how do we undo positive 3?
Negative 3.
Turn around, please. It's going to be minus 3 from both sides. When I minus 3 from both sides, what do I get back?
For 4 you get 1.
Right, 4 minus 3 is 1, and then plus 3 minus 3 is going to be what? 0. And then we know that's just going to be y less than 1. Now, how do we graph this? Is this going to be open circle or closed circle?
Open circle.
Open circle, where is it going to be at?
To the left.
It's going to,
To the left of 2.
oh, right, between 0 and 2, that's going to be 1. Okay, and now am I going to shade to the left or to the right?
To the left.
Very good, to the left. Any questions? Mason, you're up. Walk me through this next problem.
You undo positive 4.
Right.
Minus 4 from both sides.
Minus 4 from both sides, what do we get back?
Negative 9.
Nice, you very good. Negative 9, and positive 4 minus 4 is what? 0. And then what's w plus 0?
Is W.
W. And am I going to have a closed circle or open circle? Closed circle, and where is my closed circle going to be?
In the middle of 10 and 8.
Right, and that's negative 9, right? Am I going to shade to the right or shade to the left? Okay, very good. Questions? It can be negative. If you have different signs, you take the difference and you keep the sign of the larger. Here, because it's both are the same distance from 0, it doesn't matter if you make it plus or minus. It'll work either way because they're tied, so you could choose either. So if you add 0 or minus 0, it doesn't matter. Yep. Okay, here we go. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, go ahead. And then you can go after he gets back. You're going to go 3 or 4 times today anyway, so let's not pretend. Now, take a look at this. I'm going to do this first problem for you, and then you guys will do the next problem on your own. So I want to walk you through this. So here's an example, application, transportation. A school bus can safely carry as many as 78 students. If 19 students are already on the bus, how many more students can board the bus? So we have a maximum capacity, right? And so we need to think about, what is my inequality going to be? Go ahead. We don't want to be greater than the maximum capacity. Less than or equal to. So you're thinking right, but we didn't want to have more than 76. If we have more than 76, that bus might tip or something, and something might happen. We don't want to exceed the maximum capacity of 76. So at most, 76. So here we had 19 students already on the bus. Then we have the available seats, and it has to be less than or equal to the max number of seats, which is 76. Okay? Question? Okay, and my variable, I just let S for seats be my variable. You could have chose whatever variable you wanted. And then here's what my inequality looks like. N plus S is going to be less than or equal to 76. Are we good? Now, here's my inequality. Can you guys go ahead and solve that? And this was your question earlier. You said, what if the S and the variable and the number are switched around? You solve it the same way. I need to get S by itself. So how do I get rid of what's with S? Who can tell me what the sign of this number is? Positive. Okay, so it's a positive 9. We got to undo positive 9. I'm sorry, 19, you're right. My bad. You were talking or whatever. I need you to try to solve this. Can you what? You can't change it from being an inequality. It stays an inequality. But the steps are very similar. Jeffrey, can you walk me through this? What am I doing? I mean, Jameson, sorry.
Okay, so 19 minus 76.
I'm going to subtract 19 from both sides. And then what's 19 minus 19 become? 0. And then 76 minus 19, what's that going to become?
47.
Right, so here's what we got. Actually, not 47, 57. So what's S plus 0? S. So we got S is less than or equal to 57. So 57 more students can board the bus. Okay, so that is the answer. Question? Ann, what'd you get? It's 50-something. That's what I got. So we got the same thing. Okay. Do you have a question about this?
Yeah, because you could do it she just switched the S and the 19.
Right. That's what she asked me earlier. Sometimes, what if these are switched around? Is it any different? It's not. Okay. All right. So I did that problem for you. That was the I do. Now I need you guys to do this problem. That's for you to do. So I need you to try now. I'll read it. To get an A, you need more than 200 points on a 2-part test. You score 109 on the first part. How many more points do you need? On your own, quietly, work it out. Come up with an inequality, and then solve it. Joel, you got this one? What do you think it's going to be? Not the answer. I want to know what's the inequality going to be? So they want an A, right? That means they could do better. Here's what we got. You got 109 points, right? Plus the points you need has got to be more than 200 points, right? Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and say for my variable p for points. Okay. So what is my inequality going to look like, Joel? What inequality goes with more than? What's that? Right, but what's the inequality for this right here, more than? What symbol do we use for that? I'm going to get somebody to help you out. Can somebody help out Joel? What symbol goes with more than? Tata? Yeah, what do we call the symbol that can go with more than? No. And would be addition, but the inequality for more than. Greater than. Did you hear what she just said, Joel? So we're going to say greater than. So 109 plus p is greater than 200. Okay, so that's the symbol I'm talking about. Okay. No, because they said more than. Okay, so you have to be careful when you read these word problems. So here's my inequality. Can you guys really quickly solve that? No, I got to call on other people. Somebody else I haven't heard from. Jakari, walk me through this. Jakari, walk me through. What am I doing first to solve this inequality? I got to get p by itself, right? What's on the side with p? What's over here with p? Okay, a plus, but what else? 109. And what is the sign of 109? Positive. So we have plus 109 or positive 109. How do I undo plus 109 or positive 109? What's the opposite of positive 109? Turn around, Shin. Turn around. Go ahead. Negative 109. So I got to subtract from both sides 109, right? Okay, so positive 109 minus 109, what's that going to give me back? 0, right? And I have 200, and I take away 109. What's 200 minus 109? What is it? Not 191. You're off a little bit when you regroup. No, you're 191. You're close, but you didn't regroup right. Can somebody help him out? What is it going to be, Mason? It's just going to be 91. Okay, and then Jakari, this 0 plus p. What's 0 plus p going to become? It's just going to become p. So we need more than 91 points. More than 91 points are needed to get an A. Okay? All right. Just about wrapped it up. Home stretch. Here we go. Vocabulary. The blank states that you can add the same value to each side of an inequality. Who has that? Noah, what's that going to be? The addition property of inequality. Okay, now take a look at this. What value is a solution to this, but is not a solution to this? So let's go ahead and solve this. How would I solve this inequality? Somebody tell me, what's the first thing you do, Michaela?
You have to get the y by itself.
Right.
You have to do the opposite inverse operation,
Uh-huh.
which would be minus 7 to both sides.
Okay, so we're going to minus 7 here. And this looks almost identical to this inequality, except the inequality is different. So we're going to minus 7 here too. And so what's 12 minus 7? 5. And then 7 minus 7 is going to be 0. So here's what we got over here. Over here, same thing, just a different inequality. And then we simplify that. That's what we got. So what value is a solution for this inequality, but not a solution for this inequality? What do you think it's going to be, Michaela? What is the solution for this one, but not this one? I'm going to see if Miranda can help you out. Miranda? 5, because this one's got an equal sign, right? This one doesn't. It's everything greater than 5. This one, it's 5 and greater. Do you understand? Are we good on that problem? Okay, now, match each inequality with the graph, but the only way we're going to match is if we solve these. So can we solve these? What's this one going to be? Can somebody walk me through this one? Let's solve this one. Nima, go ahead. Uh-huh. Add the 4, and then what? What do we get back? Okay, 0, and then what's this over here? And 1. Nope. 5 plus 4 is 9. So h is less than 9. Which one of these is h less than 9? Is it going to be open circle or closed circle? Open circle. And it's got to be less than 9, right? So where do we see 9? Which graph is less than 9? First, second, third, or fourth? What is it? The third. Very good. Here we go. Now, who's got this one? We're almost done. Home stretch. Atisha, go ahead. What do we do?
They're going to subtract 4 from both sides.
Subtract 4 from both sides.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then the answer's going to be
There are still 4 minutes left. If you're going to take my time, I promise you I'm going to take your time. Have a seat. And you're being rude. Atisha, continue. What do I get back?
h minus 0
Right, h minus 0, and that's going to be greater than or equal to what?
greater than 1.
1, nice, nice. And then what's h plus 0?
Oh, it equals greater to or less than 1.
Right, and so which graph goes with this? First of all, for that sign, that inequality, is it open circle or closed circle? Nice. And which one is it going to be?
The last one.
You're saying it's the last one, so h greater than 1, and I agree with you. The last one, nice. Now, who can do this one right here? H minus 4 is less than or equal to negative 5. Can I get a volunteer for that one? Bryce, can you walk me through this one? What am I going to do?
You're going to add 4 and 5.
Right, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And then what do I get back? I get back, what kind of 1? A negative 1, nice. And then so we have h less than or equal to negative 1. And which graph goes with that one? First of all, closed circle, open circle. Closed circle, and which graph goes with that? Nice, the second one. And so this last one, obviously, through process of elimination, we know which one's the last one. But let's go ahead and solve this one. Who's got this one? Chin, walk me through it.
Alright, so first you gotta subtract
Subtract what? 4 from both sides. Good. What do we get back when we subtract 4 from both sides?
1.
No, I have a negative 5 and I have a minus 4. They're the same sign, so we add them and keep the sign. So what do I do?
8. Like,
What's 5 plus 4?
9.
9, and we keep the sign, which is what?
Negative.
Negative, so it's going to be negative 9. And what's h plus 0?
H.
So h is less than negative 9. So the only possibility for that one is the first one, negative 9, and it's open circle less than.